Alright, we're going to start the evaporator shortly. That's full of sap right there, and there's a couple other containers I have around the woods that are buried in snow. So we're going to take about 120 liters and try to get that down to about 3 liters of sap. So we have the ice cold sap. As you can see, the ice crystals in there, starting to boil on the burner. The only thing with these propane burners, they don't work so well in the wintertime. It's below freezing, so I've moved my setup to the sun so the propane tank can heat up a little bit and the regulator can heat up a bit. It's not putting out a lot of heat right now, but I'll wait till the sun hits it and then we'll see what we can come up with. These things seem to operate much better at about +5, +10 degrees, but that kind of defeats the purpose in my environment, at least, of making sap, because at that point there's no place to store it and it can turn sour. So now it's just a matter of keeping it on a rolling boil and from time to time adding more sap. And when this gets down to a small manageable amount, I usually bring it in and finish it on the stovetop. Well, we finally have the sap boiling off. So I think I have to turn it down just a notch, but it was just hard getting it up to temperature, so I'm going to do that very carefully. And this will give me a good idea of how much is in the pot. I've taken some dark oven mitts and put them by the regulator, figuring that that might trap a little bit of the sunlight and keeping the regulator from freezing up. Not very high tech, but this is my sap storage container. It's 111 liters filled right up to the top. And here's what I have in it. So as you can see, it's probably 2/3 full. I've got a nice crust of ice to break through. There we go. And from there I will be scooping that up, filtering it, putting it into a bucket and bringing it over to the evaporator. So I'm just using a reusable coffee filter. And I like to filter it whenever possible. This is a slow process and there's lots of time in between. So I'll filter it before it goes in the pot. I'll filter it when I'm changing it from the big pot to a smaller pot, and then might do it one more time when canning. So to put that in perspective, that bucket is about 1 cup of maple syrup. I brought some of the sap in to hurry up the process, so you can see this is boiling down nicely. You don't want to bring too much into the house, or you'll just end up steaming your place out. Alright, we got the syrup inside and we got it down to 1 pot. So I'm going to try to boil that down to about a liter and a quarter. Some of the required items that you're going to need to store your syrup: mason jars. Well, I guess you can use in other containers, but if you're going to use mason jars, a canning funnel is quite handy. This is a reusable coffee filter that's just dedicated to maple syrup. Measuring cup, a plate to keep the stickiness off your stove, a couple of pots, and, very important, a candy thermometer. Alright, our sap's boiling away. It's not quite syrup yet. It's got to reach 7 degrees Fahrenheit above the boiling point of water. Since I'm pretty much at sea level, that's 219 degrees Fahrenheit for me. And so I am going at about 215 right now. So I've got a ways to go. Alright, I'm just tempering my mason jars here because they're about to receive some really hot maple syrup.
Sorry about the poor quality of light here. The light above the stove doesn't work. What I'm doing right now is stirring the syrup that's left over on the bottom of the pot over low heat, and I'm trying to turn it into a paste and eventually get all the water out of it, and it will turn into powdered sugar. And this stuff is absolutely delightful. It melts on the palate. It's mild, very subtle flavored, and very delicious.
I'm pretty happy with the color of the syrup. It seems to be a nice golden brown. So that's the haul. We got 750 milliliters plus another 500 milliliters plus a small container here, and this is the real gold. This is the maple sugar I was talking about. It is absolutely amazing.